anything is possible to me. Maybe there's a backstory. Maybe there's a Dynatox show, Ken.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine?
Oh, I imagine it every day.
You guys see if Netflix came out with like Dynatox and it was kind of
don't tease me.
It showed you what that world was like. I haven't asked you yet. Yeah, let me just finish and then we'll build the suspense and you can tell me if it's a yes or no. If there was a show that kind of delved deeper into Terry's life, maybe some of that family backstory, maybe seeing how, what happened a little bit more in Borneo, how Dynatox came to be what it is, the whole slope, and then some of the stuff that we talk about after, Karate Kid 3, and just seeing kind of how, like a little bit of corporate 80s greed mixed with, these crazy characters, how Margaret, came to be, and what her entry in the company was. Would that be something you guys would maybe tune into?
We'll start with
Drake. What,
dude, Hayden, you're speaking my language here. Like that's actually honestly like a dream series for me, because I feel like there's so much of the backstory that we don't know that I would love to know. And it's like we've speculated in our own minds or, talking on some of these streams. But dude, where do I sign up, please? I would love it.
Kevin, I mean, if there was, if Netflix came out with like a kind of a big Dynatox show that delved into Terry, is that something that you would like tune into and watch?
100%. I mean, I'd be counting down the minutes. We'd be here doing a live stream about it. It would be ridiculous. Early 20s Terry, how his rise to fame and glory. I mean, I'd be all in for that. Absolutely.
And Ken, by the way, great necklace. And I appreciate the the cosplay there. Asking you the same question. If Dynatox was a real thing, is that something that you would like make, videos about and get into? And, is that something that you'd be interested in?
Well, Hayden, I have to be totally honest with you. I've had literal dreams about that. And in addition, I've already started making commercials about Dynatox. I don't know. So I am all on board. I support Dynatox, the company, and I would be very excited to see Dynatox, the series, like beyond excited. Yes.
We only know about our only understanding of it as a company is kind of as a toxic waste. It's got this toxic waste dumping, and so it's got a preconceived notion about it, right. Much like Johnny, But I'll tell you this: companies to exist and thrive need to deliver to their customers. They need to provide service. So I don't know if we know the whole story of the balance sheet of the positives and negatives of Dynatox, for society and all of that. It's like, I think energy in general as a industry, there's a somewhat lopsided view of that industry because of environmental, opinions, and not to disagree with any of those concerns, but the fact of the matter is we're communicating right now through technology that requires energy, and for every Borneo disaster, there's a new children's school that has communication abilities or the ability to travel from kids from certain places of the world to maybe to explore. There are benefits to energy that I don't think that we know about or appreciate. And I don't know, there's like, you could really get into some deeper thoughts with that. And I feel like, again, all about Dynatox is the little that you hear from like that hot tub scene and our own preconceived notions of companies that, you know, dump toxic waste. But the fact is, like, what are you going to do with it? Like,
Right.
you
Go
got
somewhere.
it somewhere. So,
Right.
you know, it's like there may have been other options that were like significantly worse, and was kind of, it's like the best, you know, it was the most moral choice. You like maybe Borneo was the least worst option. You don't know. So
All I,
like
all I know is
these are things that can be explored in addition to more Terry backstory, and get to see how maybe Snake is an intern. Maybe, you know, who knows what's going on there. So like,
It's definitely a
I
drug
want-
dealer. Yeah.
I think it sounds like a calculated smear campaign. All we get is the negative stuff about
Yeah.
Terry. We know that he's innocent.
Yeah.
We know he's done nothing wrong. I mean, like you said, it's the maybe the best of the worst options.
Yeah.
And you know, what about all the good stuff that he's probably
Yeah.
done for the world and the community, right? That's how
Yeah.
I feel about him.
And Borneo might be his one blemish. We don't know this. Who knows? Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And maybe there's something that happened in Borneo that in some way, not saying they deserved it,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
like, you know, like
Maybe they did.
they didn't, he didn't get the premier suite at the hotel there. You know, those you get to understand like maybe why that became a target. I don't know. I like putting things out in the ether, and you know, let the fans you know, write letters to Netflix. I encourage.
Well, Hayden, I think I speak for all fans. You know, we want that. We would love that. And if we maybe we'll have a marathon where we write letters to Netflix about it too. Because I mean, I would love it, and I think your take on it is exactly right. Dynatox, the reason it's so successful is because it's providing a valuable service to the world, and it would be fun to see Terry as, you know, he's a global player. I mean, my gosh, wouldn't that be fun?
I also think it's an opportunity to see Terry and his father and the shadow. It's like I always felt like coming out of Vietnam, like he was like broken down and like a phoenix rose, and you're just seeing like what we're seeing in Karate Kid 3 is him at an apex. But like, I'd love to see how that like kind of like boom, you know, like came up, and like it just feels like there's that moment where he like kind of one-ups his dad, you know, and does stuff like that. Like, I'd love to see that. And you know, whether it's Nick Marini, who plays young Terry, and or Thomas, you know, it's such an amazing like world. So listen, anything's possible. Anything's
Please.
possible.
Please.
Yes, please.
That's long letters, not threatening, but that are passionate.
Right.
Forceful letters. Yeah.
Well, we'll organize a campaign to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I think, as we've shown, we get results. So
I love that.